Hi book besties, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angel and that is Penelope. This is her channel really. So welcome back to her channel. And now she's on my lap so you see her tail. But anyways, we are back with another TBR takedown. And for this episode, we will be using an alphabet spinner wheel to choose the books that we read. So if it lands on an F, we have to find a book with the title that starts with an F. But let's get into the rules. If the book starts with the or a, I'm allowed to act as if I'm blind and cannot see it. Let me give an example. So right here we have The Air He Breathes. I'm allowed to use this book if it lands on the letter A. And honestly, that's pretty much my only rule to make it a bit easier for myself because a lot of books start with the or a. So yeah, those are my rules. I'm super excited, and obviously if it lands on a letter that I don't have, I'll skip it. See, I do not have any that start with a Z, so we will be skipping that. Okay, so we got the letter N. Obviously we have this as a choice. This. If I want it to be blind, we have this. I think these might be our only options. I know I don't really want to read The Nightingale right now. This is just a really thick book and I've kind of been in a slumpy mood, so I want a short book. I will be getting to this soon though. So that leaves us with Nora Goes Off Script and Not So Perfect Strangers. And this is actually on my TBR for this month, so. But am I in a thriller mood or a romance mood? I do not know. I'm gonna figure this out off camera. And whichever book you see in the next clip is the book that we're gonna read. Okay, so I'm back with a decision. All signs were leading to Not So Perfect Strangers by Ella Stratton. One, because like I said, I've been feeling very book slumpy, so a thriller usually does the trick, especially when it's fast-paced and has a really good premise. So this sounds really good. And two, because it was already on my TBR, so I was planning on getting to it this month anyway, so it's just like, why not? But let me tell you guys a little bit what this is about. I'm pretty much just gonna read the back. It says, I'm a big believer that women should help each other, Tasha. She says, don't you think? Tasha Jenkins has finally found the courage to leave her abusive husband. Taking her teenage son with her, Tasha checks into a hotel the night before their flight out of DC and out of Cordell Jenkins's life forever. But escaping isn't so easy, and Tasha soon finds herself driving back to her own personal hell. As she is leaving, a white woman pounds on her car window, begging to be let in. Behind the woman, an angry man is in pursuit. Tasha makes a split-second decision that will alter the course of her life. She lets her in and takes off. Tasha and Madison Gingle may have different everyday realities, but what they have in common is marriages they need out of. The two women want to help each other. They just have very different ideas of what that means, and they are on a collision course that will end in the case files of the DC MPD homicide unit. That just sounds really good. I need to see what these women are going to get into and what's up with these marriages. Okay, so I've made it to chapter 6. I want to do a little update. Not really much to say, except for I do not feel bad for Madison. At least right now I don't. Okay, it's one of those situations where there's a rich guy and a young girl. So basically, they met while he was married. They were getting it on. Okay, left his wife. She's the new wife. Now basically, she's aging and he needs his new young trophy wife. And it's just like, girl, what did you expect? Because if he did that to his ex-wife, you seriously thought he wouldn't do it to you? Let's be for real. So if it was gonna be that situation, you had better been in it for the money. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Madison. But Madison and Tasha, they've met already. Tasha has gone back to the house, to Cordell. He's pissed. He's pissed. So I'm scared for her right now. Yeah, I'm excited to keep reading this though. And so far, it's very fast paced. And yeah, that's really all I had to say. I'm not a huge fan of Madison right now, but hopefully she gets better. I don't know if she's supposed to be the villain in this story. And yeah, so far, so good. And I know my hair looks crazy. Don't say anything. Don't say anything about it. Okay, so it's a bit later. I want to show you guys some updates, even though I'm still not super far into this book, but I wanted to give you guys some proper updates because all I really spoke about was Madison, and we're gonna get to her. But we are given before and now timelines, and in the now timeline there is like a house fire, and Tasha is claiming that she did it, but the police is like, something's not adding up, like you're lying straight through your teeth. And that just makes me think, like, girl, who put you up to this? I'm interested in figuring that out. And then about Madison, we got some of her history and her father, emphasis on the word father, because he wouldn't even allow any of his kids to say dad or daddy, anything like that. So father, yeah, he's very insane. I will say check the trigger warnings because there was a scene that could be very triggering. But anyways, I'm really enjoying this. I just had to give you guys some updates because this is getting really good. And Madison in the present day, she's a bit off. She's a bit off. So her history may have something to do with that because something's not right. So it's the next day. I'm sorry if this is like really choppy. I feel like I have not spoken to you guys very much in this vlog. I just have not been feeling the best, but fear not, I am feeling better, but I will be leaving for a few days, so it might be choppy again. I'm sorry. And by choppy, I just mean like skipping from day to day, but I'm gonna try to film more today before I leave. We're actually gonna pick our next book, but I have some updates with this. I am on chapter 32, and before I get into my updates, I just want to say I've noticed with the book girlies, we find it very hard looking over cheating, right? But when it comes to like murder, we turn a blind eye. And I just think that's so funny because I was judging Madison at first because she was a little homewrecker, but I think she's making up for it, honestly, and I'm actually starting to like her. And listen, I still find her very crazy and very off-putting, but I love a deranged character, okay? And let me just say this, she will do anything to stand up for herself. Like, if she feels like she's been wronged in any type of way, like she will do whatever it takes to get what she wants, including murder. But what can I say? She's actually not that bad, okay? I can see how she may think that she's helping people, and it's not like these people are innocent, but like I said, she's crazy. I support women's rights and women's wrongs. So as long as it's not racially motivated, so far it hasn't been, although her father did make some remarks. I don't think she thinks like him, but yeah, so far I support her. She just needs to communicate better. But yeah, all of that to say is I'm having fun and I'm really enjoying this book. And I just feel like there's just so much going on that I'm not bored at any time. Like, you have the things going on with the son, there's a little romance in here. Madison has this other friend that's going through some things and she took some bad advice. But yeah, I'm not bored. Never a dull moment, and it's just so fun. But let's go ahead and pick our next letter so we can pick out our next book. Okay, we have the letter O, and I have a few options in mind, but I think 2 options that I have, they're wrapped up. So I'm gonna look for that and we're gonna unwrap them. And I'm just going off of what they feel like. Okay, I definitely think this is one. We have One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake, and I've had this for a really long time on my TBR. This is a romantasy. It's like a Romeo and Juliet reimagining, and I have not read anything by Olivia Blake, but I've heard that her writing is very lyrical, kind of poetic in a way. But yeah, I'm obsessed with this cover. Okay, we have One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, and this is a sapphic romance, and I think there might even be a time machine in this, or like a time loop. It says she's literally displaced in time from the 1970s, so that sounds interesting. Option number 2. But then I also have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, and this is an extremely popular fantasy duology, so it might be time to read it. I decide to pick this one, I'll go into more details, but right now these are our 3 options and I have no idea what I want to pick. I guess after I finish this book, whatever I'm in the mood for. But yeah, these are our options for the letter O. You guys, I just read a part where Madison and Tasha, they're having like a face-off right now, and Tasha just told her about herself. She clocked it, and she threatened her. She was like, you better back off. And I fear Madison, she's not going to take the hint that she really needs to back off. So yeah, shit's going to hit the fan. Like I said, in the now timeline, some crazy stuff is going down, and I feel like I haven't really said like exactly what's going on, but that's because they left it out on the back, so I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the story, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this because shit is hitting the fan. You guys, I think I just reached the plot twist. Let me keep reading. Okay, so now it's making sense. Okay, so as you've seen, I finished Not So Perfect Strangers. Love this so much, but we're gonna do a wrap up at the end of the video. The next book I chose to read for the letter O is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I have hardly heard any negative reviews on this book, so my hopes are kind of high. Hopefully it doesn't let me down. It says, Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient, mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her. He keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a drastic turn. Thrust into a world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure Blunder of the dark magic infecting it. A maiden must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom in this dark, lush, gothic fantasy debut. Okay, that sounds so good. I love the whole dark, eerie, gothic vibe, so I feel like this will be very fun. Finished filming a wrap-up video, so if you've seen that video, this might look familiar, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick update while I look some kind of decent, because I'm about to edit said video and I'm going to take all my makeup off, shower, get cozy, so I might be looking crazy later. But updates, I have not made it very far actually. I'm only on chapter 6, page 62. Barely a dent has been made, so we're gonna get a lot of reading done tonight after I finish editing. But what I can say so far is immediately drawn into the story. There hasn't been much world building and the writing isn't too intricate. Sometimes with fantasies, y'all know it can get confusing. But yeah, 60 pages in, not very confusing, and I'm just very interested in where this is going to go. And I find the cards that they speak of very interesting. So yeah, the main event that takes place in this book has not happened yet, but I think we're getting near. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little update. So far, I really am enjoying this, and I'm glad that I picked it up. So it's the next day and I want to talk about One Dark Window. I'm beginning to understand more about the cards and the power that they contain, and I find that to be really cool, but I just don't think I'm in a fantasy mood right now. Like, this is really good. I'm not going to put this off forever. I just am not in the mood to read this right now. So we're going to spin for a new letter. I'm hoping for like a romance maybe, or literary fiction. I don't know. We're fighting a book slump, okay? I'm not very eager to pick up this book. I want to feel hooked on a book. I want to not be able to put the book down. So yeah, we are going to find us a new book. Okay, fingers crossed that this works out in our favor. Okay, we got the letter C. Let's go take a look at the TBR card. Honorable mention. Okay, so the book we have chosen is Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. This book I've been wanting to read for a while, so when I got the letter C, I pretty much knew it was time. I'm going to read a little bit off the back. It says, Conversations with Friends paints a nuanced, page-turning portrait of a whip-smart university student in the throes of an affair with an older married man. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like it's going to be so fun. Me personally, I love reading and learning about affairs, specifically the psychological parts of it all, because fun fact, actually really sad fact, I got cheated on. It was a while ago. But when that happened, I couldn't for the life of me wrap my head around how someone can present themselves one way, but then be living a completely different life, like living a double life. Like that's low-key scary, because who does that? Apparently a lot of people though. Anyways, so I say all that to say, I did my research on it because I simply could not understand. And apparently it actually has a lot to do with the psychological of it all. Like, I know that doesn't make sense the way I'm wording it, but it has something to do up there. Like, not even just the person that's in a relationship, also the person that's willing to be in a relationship with someone that's taken or married. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this, and it's very short. It's a rainy, gloomy day, so I feel like we might binge this. So it's a lot later and my cat is laying on my book, so I'm just gonna hold my Kindle. Also, isn't she so cutesy? Let's talk about conversations with friends. Immediately, I'm invested. Like, I don't know if it's Sally Rooney's writing, but I'm invested. So our main character is Frances, and she has this best friend named Bobby. Now, Bobby and Frances, they have like this weird friendship dynamic, kind of like a homoerotic friendship, even though they did date back in like high school. So they're really exes, which the lesbian community needs to stop. We gotta stop, because why is everyone friends with their exes? And I know I don't need to speak too much, but I'm just saying it's getting out of hand. I hate when people are like, oh, I'm just gonna go gay. It'll be so much easier. Girl, be for real, because imagine your partner is introducing you to their best friend and it's really their ex, but you never know because, like I said, they introduced you as their bestie. It's wild out here, okay? It's wild. Anyways, back to the story. Yeah, their friendship is very weird. It's kind of like they're low-key kind of in competition with each other. Or maybe it's just Frances, because it's only in the thoughts of Frances. She's very insecure and she's always looking for external validation, especially from everyone really, but also from her best friend, Bobby. But at a performance one night, they meet Melissa. She's a well-known photographer. She's an older, sophisticated woman, and she's the one with the husband, Nick. Now, Melissa, she's taking a liking and she favors Bobby, and Bobby and her are developing this relationship, friendship, whatever it is. I know Bobby has a crush on her. So yeah, Frances is feeling left out. She's jealous of their bond. So then that's kind of when she starts cozying up to Nick, because Bobby and Melissa are always off together, and she eventually gets Nick's email. They start emailing each other, and you guys know it's about an affair, so you guys know where that's headed. Yeah, so that's what's happening so far. I'm only on chapter 8, page 58, so that's really just the beginnings. I'm interested to see where this goes, what's going to happen. Okay, so it's the next day. We're actually about to go to Goodwill, and hopefully we're able to find some good books, because I am just itching to go book shopping. I'm not in a book buying ban, but I've been trying to buy more books secondhand, and I just haven't gotten any new books since January. So the book lover in me is just ready to buy some new books. Looks messy, it is, but look away. Look away. We're talking about books, people, not the bed. I tripped and fell into a thrift store, so let's look for books. There's literally no more buggies left, so I grabbed this bin and we're gonna put the books in there. No, because why was this in the kids section? Okay guys, back with so many goodies, and I've seen so many great books, and I'm so sad that I didn't get all of them, but we have to be responsible, okay? But let's get into this haul. First book I got, Beach Read by Emily Henry. At this point, this is my third book by this author, and I have not read any of her books, so I need to get on that, because at this point it's getting out of hand. She's a bit well loved, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure you guys all know what this is about at this point, even though I don't. So maybe you don't if you haven't read it. Everything was $1.91, by the way. It says Augustus Everett is an unacclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is for the next 3 months, they're living in neighboring beach houses, broken bogged down with writer's block. Then one hazy evening, one thing leads to another and they strike a deal designed to force them out of their creative ruts. Augustus will spend the summer writing something happy, and January will pen the next great American novel. She'll take him on field trips worthy of any rom-com montage, and he'll take her to interview surviving members of backwoods death cult. Obviously, everyone will finish a book and no one will fall in love. Really? Okay, that actually sounds really good. And then we have Killers of a Certain Age. This is a book of the month book for September 2022. It says, older women often feel invisible, but sometimes that's their secret weapon. They've spent their lives as the deadliest assassins in a Claude Steen international organization. But now that they're 60 years old, 4 female friends can't just retire. It's kill or be killed. Billy, Mary Alice, Helen, and Natalie have worked for the museum, an elite network of assassins, for 40 years. Now their talents are considered old school and no one appreciates what they have to offer in an age that relies more on technology than people skills. When the foursome is sent on an all-expense paid vacation to mark their retirement, they are targeted by one of their own. Only the board, the top-level members of the museum, can order the termination of field agents, and the women realize they've been marked for death. Now, to get out alive, they have to turn against their own organization, relying on experience and one another to get the job done, knowing that working together is the secret to their survival. They're about to teach the board what it really means to be a woman and a killer of a certain age. That just sounds good. You guys know I love me a juicy thriller. And then next, I got 2 series. The first one being the Maze Runner trilogy. I think this is a trilogy. Actually, no. It's not. Okay, well, I got the first 3. Apparently there's one more. I've only seen parts of this movie, so I don't really know what this is about. But this came out years ago, like in the Hunger Games, Divergent era. So this is right up there with them. Wait, I just found another bookmark. It's so cute. It says I Heart Monsters. The Percy Jackson in the Olympians series. I don't know if it's called the Lightning Thief series, but yeah, this has been on my radar as well. I've seen the first 2 movies, but I've never read any of the books. So yeah, very excited for this. I don't know, I love a nostalgic read. So yeah, these are all the books that I got. I'm so happy. I love getting new books. Okay, I'm sorry for this lighting, and if it's echoey, apologies in advance. But I did not update you guys on conversations with friends. Last night, I made it to chapter 14. I'm still fairly enjoying this. Frances, our main female character, she had said something. I highlighted it on my Kindle, but let me see if I can find it within the book. Okay, I found it. I'm gonna read it to you. It says, I fixated on perceived wrongs Nick had done to me. Callous things he said or implied, so that I can hate him or therefore justify the intensity of my feelings for him as pure hatred. But I recognized that the only thing he had done to hurt me was to withdraw his affection, which he had every right to do. In every other way, he had been courteous and thoughtful. At times, I thought this was the most misery I had experienced in my life, but it was also a very shallow misery, which at any time could have been relieved completely by a word from him and transformed into idiotic happiness. Y'all see her? And one thing about my girl Sally, she does situationships so painfully real. Like those intense feelings simply because your needs are not being met. Like she clearly wants more from him, but since they've already established like he's married, he cannot be there for her 24/7 in a full way like she's wanting. But since they've already established that, and that's what they're going with, she obviously wants more, but is holding off on saying that just so she can have a piece of him. If she can't have him completely, she's willing to accept parts of him. And Frances, she's 21, so hopefully she grows out of this because, girl. So yeah, hopefully she learns her worth because you should not be accepting the bare minimum from anyone. And yeah, I'm gonna try to get some more reading done tonight because I have not read anything today, but I'm just about to plan in my planner because I have not planned out my week. guys, so I did indeed just finish Conversations with Friends. I literally binged it, got to part 2. Things started falling apart. This was a very interesting read, very character driven. I was reading it mainly as a character study. And y'all, these are some seriously flawed characters. Like even Nick and Melissa, because let me tell you, they are not perfect either. As a couple, they have this very weird, kind of toxic, messed up relationship. Like I said, none of the characters were necessarily likable, and it was actually kind of strange. But this book was hard to put down. I love Sally's writing. Like, it just speaks to me. And I think it's very important to take yourself out of the equation when you're reading books, especially books like this, because of course, you can go into it with a negative connotation because of the situation going on. But it's a story about characters. They're not perfect, and I don't even necessarily like them, but it was a good story. So I'm gonna rate this 3.75 stars and then round it up to 4 stars on Goodreads. Now for the other books that we read in this video. We started off with Not So Perfect Strangers by L.S. Stratton. This was so fun. And it went in a completely different direction from where I thought it was going. There was a lot going on. And I mean that in the best way possible because I was never bored. And I actually loved being in both POVs. Like, I love the writing. I feel like it was written very thoroughly. Like, we got to know so much of the characters' past. While it being such a short book, I did not feel like the story was rushed at all. This book was filled with unhinged characters, and I love unhinged characters. It just makes for a fun read. Okay, I like to have fun with my thrillers. It wasn't my absolute favorite, but it was a good time. So I'm gonna rate this 3.5 stars. And then we did start One Dark Window, which started off very good, and it still is. I just wasn't in a fantasy mood. So I'll probably pick this back up when I am in a fantasy mood. But yeah, here are all the books we read or tried to read throughout this video. Okay, I'm gonna end off this vlog now. If you've watched all the way up to this point, you are a real one, but also comment down below this emoji just because I like to see watch my videos all the way through. And it's like an inside joke that only the besties know. So leave that down below so I know if we're besties or not. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hair because it needs a good washing.